Oh.
All right. You want to start this one off?
I just did the last one, didn't I?
No, I did the...
Did you?
I'll start it off. It's fine.
Okay. I can't remember.
Do I
so.
do this shirt?
I'm keeping mine on.
Okay, cool.
So. I think you're stupid, and I think it's the best book I've ever read.
I'm gonna hate you if you actually believe that.
Welcome back, everyone. We're Loud Library. I'm Dantes.
I'm Jacob.
And we're doing another book review. And we're talking about book 2 of the Hierarchy series, Strength of the Few by James Islington. I'm going to start off right away. I like this book a lot.
I did not like this book a lot.
You are so
or at all, to be
completely
honest.
wrong. And I'm hopefully all of you will just join me in my wheelhouse and just realize that I am the fucking best. Yeah.
All right.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah, we will be trying to be spoiler free for this book for the first 10 or so minutes, but be warned, we might be spoiling book 1.
Yeah, no. Right from the get, we're gonna be talking about stuff that happens in book 1. So if you haven't read one of the many, just join us for the next one, or just put us on mute. Yeah, let's talk about this book.
I guess I will start off by saying, going into this book, I didn't like book 1. Mm-hmm. So going into this book, I wasn't being carried by kind of like the feelings and stuff I had for book 1, like I think some people might have been and stuff. So I just want to put that out there, that I didn't like this book. It's not like I loved I didn't like the first book. It's not like I loved book 1 and I think this one is horrible. I didn't really like either of them.
Okay, I went into this book liking book 1. I thought that the book was fine for most of it. I thought it was nothing crazy. The fact that I enjoyed kind of like the pacing and kind of the action. I didn't really mind that Viz was so much of a Gary Stew, but it was just, I enjoyed it well enough. And then the ending obviously gave a lot of promise to future books and what's going on and what the actual story is going to be. So I gave it I think around a 4-star. And so that's how I went into this book. I was looking forward to something else that was going to continue on with my feelings of less enjoyment, a fast-paced plot, and nothing too not out of this. Well, actually, I was expecting more because of the promise at the end of the first book. So,
Okay.
yeah. So just a really quick some information. It was released this year, actually last month in November. It's released by Simon & Schuster and Soccer Press. Thankfully, you see that I flipped out the covers and I have the green because I have the original covers. I bought it before they did the special editions or whatever, the new covers for this. So thankfully, they did the right thing and actually made the original style of the covers available. It does have the misprint here on the back. I'm not going to try to zoom in, whatever. Let's see if you can see this. You can't really see it, but whatever. It says it's misspelled in hierarchy, but it's spelled correctly. Do you want to go over just brief, non-spoiler thoughts on this?
I guess maybe so. What the book is about?
We should talk about
at the end of the first book. The main
well,
character...
let's talk about the first book and what happens, and then at the end.
Yeah, well, I don't think they need the whole thing. No?
Well, let's talk about it.
Okay,
So it follows
Vis,
whose real name is Diago. He's a prince of Sus, which is a country that was recently taken over by the Khatan Empire, whatever.
Republic, I think.
What?
I think, are they Republic?
Yeah, Khatan Republic, whatever it might be.
Republic.
And Sus is a 15, 16, 17-year-old boy that is kind of an exiled prince from his land. His family was killed off. He's now living in this empire or republic that the magic is essentially pyramid shaped, where people seed their wills, or I guess their willpower, their self, into other people higher than them or higher socially up this ladder. And there's different amounts for how much will each level of the pyramid actually gets. Mm-hmm. But he's special in that he's never ceded his will to anyone. He eventually gets recruited by a gentleman, Okiskor, into becoming his adopted son and helping him try to investigate the death of his brother Siror, where it kind of goes into this Red Rising. It's very Red Rising in the whole Roman aspect, trying to cause a revolution and take down the Republic.
That's
for him, but for
him in the first book, he doesn't want anything. He just wants to be left alone and be free. He just doesn't want to give his will up, and he just wants to be left alone.
But he eventually wants to take it.
But Okiskor sends him to school to basically be a spy because it's where his brother died, and he's like, I want you to figure out what actually happened here and whatnot. But then Okiskor's wife, Relukia, is part of a group that is trying to overthrow the government, basically. And so both of them Reliquia is kind of like blackmailing him into doing stuff.
Yes, because she knows his true identity.
Yes, and Ulquistor is like...
I want to find out why my brother died.
Yeah,
and he believes
basically.
that the principalis of the school of Viridius is to blame.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So he goes through this training montage, then gets into the school, this highly prestigious school for all these like high society Republicans in the book, and he essentially has to climb his way up to be on the top rung of this ladder. So he becomes Dominator, which is I guess the best in the class. It's like the valedictorian for this series. He does this. And then at the end of the book,
there's like this big like challenge thing that gets disrupted by the people that Reliquia works with, who's trying to overthrow the government and stuff. So there's a bunch of chaos happening and stuff. But the big thing is Vis goes and finds this kind of like ancient structure that he believes is connected to Siro's death, and he is using it. And at the he's using it. He does it. He like beats the challenge, and he uses this ancient contraption. Yeah. And at the very end of the book, you find out that Vis has been split. Well, he hasn't been split, but he's been like copied and pasted into 3 different realities.
Yeah. So the main Viz /Diago is part of the world Res. And then we have Obiteum, and then we have Luceum.
Yeah.
So Viz gets copied into Obiteum, and he gets copied into Luceum, as well as staying in the original Res, where the Roman thing is. And so let's just talk about like what these 3 different worlds and what they're modeled after, because I didn't realize until I spoke with our friend Kendall, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. It just like it made sense after she said it.
So Res is from the first one is very Roman aesthetic and Roman inspired.
Yes.
Obiteum is like Egyptian.
Yes.
And then Luceum is like Gaelic, kind of.
It's Gaelic, Irish, Celtic kind of like idea. I think it's Gaelic is a proper term, but yes. And so we're gonna try to I have the names of the different businesses in the different worlds, so we can talk about like different perspectives and stuff. But that's generally what happened in book 1, and then book 2. What are your general thoughts about how everything was?
I mean, I think it's very. Well, so it's hard for me because I didn't really like it going into it.
Okay.
So, but I actually think this book might be like a tiny step better, like in the right direction, personally, which isn't what a lot of other people think. A lot of people who really love the first book didn't like this one as much.
Yeah, I think they're crybabies.
But I actually thought this was a little better because I think there was just more happening. I really liked Luceum.
What?
Yes.
Holy crap! You are completely wrong. No wonder he is. Don't even listen to him.
Luceum was my favorite one. Which, I think everybody online is like. I think a lot of people online are still like Res is still their favorite.
Yeah.
I really like Luceum just because
I can just tell you that Luceum was not my favorite.
So I'm just gonna say Luceum was like the only one where I felt it was more shown than told. But it's like it's literally only because he like can't speak the language.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't like helped into speaking the language because in
Obiteum he like has a guide basically.
Yeah. Wow, that's mind blowing. I did not expect that coming from you because I could tell you right now that Luceum was just fine for most of it for me.
Well, that's how I guess what's your favorite one?
I want to say Res is still my favorite.
If it was Obiteum, I was gonna flip my shit.
No, I would say that Res is still my favorite. Although what happens in Res was not my favorite of what
things that happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, generally, I think I enjoyed this book like you. I enjoyed it more than the first book. And the fact that there's more interesting things happening. But what detracts it for me is that I felt the narrative structure was done poorly. And because of that, it suffered in pacing.
Okay.
So you get 3 different perspectives in this, and you get the Viz in each of these different worlds. And because of that, it suffered in pacing, where I felt like it could have lasted a little bit longer in certain worlds and progressing the story in that, and then kind of going back into the other worlds and then telling the story and seeing how the decision made in this one world with Viz you see that how it kind of like bleeds into the other worlds. Because these copies are essentially like going through not similar things, but certain things happen that affect the other ones or like progress the story in the other ones.
Well, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Did we give scores yet?
No. What's your score?
I gave this a 2-star.
I gave it a 4-star.
But I could maybe be like a 2.5, maybe even.
Okay, I want you to boost it up. So, like, I think one of the things that I will critique about the book before we go into spoilers is that I feel that I kind of like in this first book, and it's not, it doesn't detract, it detracts a little bit from my score, and that's why, like, I'm not going super high with it, is that any obstacle that Viz comes across, the answer, the solution kind of gets presented to him fairly easily.
Yeah.
And goes into the whole Gary Stu thing. But I don't even think this is the Gary Stu thing. Like I think this is actually outside things have actually helped him in moving
I think
forward.
it's still.
Yeah, it is.
Like it is okay. I will say a big problem I had with the first one was the Gary Stu-ness of this. I don't think it's as big of a problem in this one.
Yes, I feel like the outside world kind of influences or helps him along.
Helps him a little more. Yes. Whereas in the first one, he's just like, oh, the greatest duelist of our generation, I can beat him with 3 hours of practice. Which I think is really funny. We'll get to in spoilers. Yeah. They like justify it in this one. I don't know if you noticed that.
I saw. There's one more thing that I want to say that I felt like was kind of didn't land as well for me. Again, everything else kind of I enjoyed. I find it interesting. The whole what he's trying to do with it, I find very interesting, and I enjoyed that aspect. But another thing that I felt that was kind of like step back for me is the side characters. At least the side characters in Res. They didn't feel as alive, but because I had the connection with them, it kind of helped like propel the story along for me and didn't affect me as much.
I mean, I know a lot of people really love the side characters in the first one. Yeah. In the first one, I still thought the side characters were bad. So people reading the second one, I've seen people online saying like, "Oh, the side characters in this one are so much worse," and I'm like, they're about the same.
Yeah, such a terrible take. Oh my god. Okay,
but yeah, I know especially. I feel like I've heard people complain more about the side characters of Obiteum and Luceum.
Oh man, I actually like the side characters a lot in both Obiteum. I think Luceum was probably the one that I like more.
I like them, but they don't get a lot of attention.
Yeah,
that's the problem. I do agree. In the first one, I think the side characters got a little more attention, and they like don't get any here.
I think they get enough attention in Luceum. Like I think they become like.
I think one of them does.
Yeah, probably like the love interest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, I think that's it for non-spoiler. We're going to talk about spoilers now, like spoiler. I don't know what that was, but yeah. So please click off or like fast forward or put us on mute.
Or if you want to be spoiled, fucking go for it.
Dirty little bitch, I love it. I know you nasty. You want to get into the fucking spoilers? Yeah, you do. Yeah, spoilers.
All right. Is there anything you want to talk about first?
Oh no, you go. I'm not as structured with this one, but like
I mean, we probably could have said this in the non-spoiler section. I really don't like the writing. I think the writing's really bad. So 1, I hate first person. 2, I hate present tense. So them together is going to be bad. But even with that, I thought this was especially bad. There are times where he's writing sentences that are just like, someone, X does thing, X does thing, X does thing, leaves. Like a sentence will just be leaves, period. Or there was I wish I need to grab my e-reader because I had stuff highlighted. But there was a fight scene where he was just like pulls out sword. Like it felt like, you know how have you heard about how sometimes authors will put insert cool fights
and then they'll put like a little mark to go back to it
and
later.
then just move on so they don't lose they don't lose their flow
or
whatever. That it feels like he was doing that and just never went back.
That's so good. I don't have the same issue with first person narrative or present tense as you. I know that's a big issue with certain other series, but it doesn't bother me as long as it entertains me. I didn't fucking get a literary degree in anything or an English degree in anything.
It's a personal thing. I just don't like it. But there's books where I really like first person narration.
Oh my god, that was so good. That made me laugh so hard.
But this one, it was literally like it felt like he was like, I'll add more detail here later, and this never went back. So it's just like pulls out sword, walks away, and I'm like, huh? And I don't know if you noticed this. I don't know if this happened in the first one, but I didn't remember it happening in the first one. He uses pronouns like very little. So he'll be like, oh, I saw Aqua, and then in the next, in the next paragraph, it'll be like, oh, I don't want to use her name again, but he doesn't want to just say she, so he'll be like the brown-haired girl, and I'm like, what are we doing here?
I didn't see that. I didn't notice that.
And then he won't say, I mean, he does sometimes, but he very rarely will be like, blah, 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 he said. It'll just be like, blah, 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 and then, like, action, and then blah, 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 blah. So sometimes I was like, who's talking right now? Or it'll be like, it was really bad, it would be really bad when it would be like, blah, 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 and then Viss's head is like, I didn't like what he said, or whatever, and I'm like, wait, he said that? Or like, were you saying that?
I can see where that's a skill issue, and you're terrible with that.
No, that's because it's poorly written.
But I didn't have. I know what you're talking about. It didn't affect me as much.
I should have grabbed my e-reader so I could have the quotes because I did have stuff like highlighted and saved.
Oh my god! So Viz goes in, gets copied into the different worlds, and it starts off with Viz kind of like waking up in these different worlds. You have Rez at the main city is Khatan. You have Obitium, which the main place is Duat, and that's the Egyptian world. And you have Luceum, which the main place is Cair Eris, and that's the Celtic Gaelic.
Well, in Luceum, he moved around.
Yeah, he moved on a lot.
In Luceum.
I know he goes into the school, which I forgot what the
Loch Trainor or something like that.
I mean, which is the training lake. Like it's so stupid. There is a short story that happens that he released just before Strength of the Few came out. It's called Confessiones ad Mortuus. It did nothing. It was just a rehash of the first book. I thought there was going to be a moment, because there's a moment where Viz in Luceum meets his father, his revived father, Cristobal. And he mentions, oh yeah, I saw your actual original self in Rez before coming here, and I thought I was going to have that, and I think it hints at it a little bit, but it doesn't really do that.
So I just want to bring it up because you brought it up. The conversation he has with his dad, I thought was so funny because that's where he like tries to justify Viz being a Gary Stu in the first book. Did you notice it? He's like, oh, you were always so much smarter and better at learning things than other people.
Well, we knew that already.
Yeah, exactly. But he says it out loud, and I
says it quiet out loud.
I think it's James Islington trying to be like, look, this is why he could do that in the first book. Whatever, I don't care. But I'm like, are you really? You're just gonna say that? He's like, his dad is just like, you're so much better than everyone else, and that's why your sister was so sad all the time. And I'm like, what?
You always beat her at these games. Let's talk also a little bit about the magic system. So on these three worlds, there's three different magic systems that then kind of bleed through because Viz is synchronous across the worlds, which is like all three copies are kind of in conjunction. They kind of feel similar things going on. So in Rez, you have the will aspect where he's getting it's essentially getting superpowers. You're essentially superpowering, you're getting super strength, super speed, all that stuff.
Well, Will, I mean, I remember, I thought it was really funny. In Rez, Will can like do anything. It's very poorly explained. And like I remember when I was reading the first book.
The first book they didn't have much of the magic.
Yes, but when I was reading the first book in the Tutor Ramble Discord, I remember, I wish I still had it. I was keeping a list of everything that Will did, and it was like it could make people's heads explode, and it could make clocks work. And I was like, what? This doesn't make any sense.
Because of the transvect and stuff like that.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I guess. But like, it's essentially, you're getting superpowers in that one. At least how it affects the person.
The big thing is like you can imbue it. Like you can put your will into other stuff, and I don't think that's something that other places could do.
Luceum's main thing is that it can imbue stuff.
Was it? Luceum's was, I felt, the least explained.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure how it worked.
Obitium is essentially, you could revive the dead. That's the magic there.
Well, it was like they were always revived or something, but it was like you could take it over or something. Yeah, the thing that
manipulate people and then revive the dead.
The thing that Rezviz gets from being synchronous is the adoption thing, where it was like he could pull the normally when something is normally when an object in Rez is imbued, another person can't like imbue it, but. Because Viz is synchronous and also in Obitium, he could like take it over. Basically,
isn't that because of Luceum?
No, I thought it was.
I thought Obitium's thing was just like taking over someone's like self and reviving the dead. And then Luceum, because of the spear aspect and being able to get some of the powers from the spear and stuff, that was Luceum, like imbuing items and taking the imbuement from them.
Maybe I had a poor understanding of that.
Yeah.
But I think it's because it's all poorly explained.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see that because I did. It was a little bit confusing for me, but like I generally understood that as the main thing.
You know what I really loved?
What?
Which is I'm being very snarky and sarcastic.
Yeah, I see your smile.
Because everything was so not explained in the first book, I loved there would be parts of the book where Viz would explain something about Will and then be like, and we know this because we learned it in school last year. And I'm like, oh.
You did not.
So,
or at least we didn't learn it.
Yeah, and I'm like, we didn't learn it in school last year.
You might have learned it, but we didn't learn it. We had 2 scenes of you talking about Will in school. Awesome. I think, so synchronous, that's a big thing. And then the concurrence. So like general like plot stuff. The concurrence is
the big bad.
The big bad, which is like, I guess it seems like where all the worlds converge, and then there's like a big war kind of going on. Or
we still, even at the end of this book, we don't super know what it is.
Yeah, it just seems like this bad guy.
We know K-Roar said in Obiteum, C-Roar said in Obiteum, like this guy, Ka was his name, is like part of it or something.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the book, in Rez, Viz meets someone who I think is also Ka.
Yes.
Okay. And he's like, no, I'm actually not the bad guys. The bad guys are a hive mind of something.
The Yuntus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is kind of like this is I guess the cliffhanger that's left at the end of the book is that Luceum Viz, which his name is Daglin, is then told that, hey, one of your other copies fucked up. Because at the end of Obiteum, at the end of so that one is Siaman.
The very last thing he does in Obiteum is he kills Ka.
He kills Ka, who's sleeping in one of the pyramids.
Yes, yeah.
At the very end of Rez is that Viz sides with Ka and revives all these dead people.
Yeah.
So he can have his army to then potentially have a force to like take over the government.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on here, and it's like, I would suggest reading the book, obviously, but like, I guess those are the general things that are going on with the story. Is there anything that you want to get into, like, specific?
Do I have anything specific? I kind
of like just backing, just
I don't know if you had this problem, but I had a hard time tracking, like, how much time was passing in the different places.
Yeah.
Especially because sometimes it seemed like more time would pass in a different place. It seemed like that to me, but I'm not sure if it actually was. But it would be like we'd go from let's say one chapter would be like Obiteum, and it would be like, oh, I just spent 3 months learning this new skill, and now I can do it.
Okay.
And then the next Rez chapter would be like, I had that conversation with Aiden yesterday, and I would be like, huh? So I was like, I don't know if it was talking about like a different conversation with Aiden, or if time was passing differently.
So this is my issue with it. I would have liked it better if we kind of stayed in one world for a lot longer than try to bounce around and do things kind of congruously. I think. Because then you would have that issue.
Yeah.
You would try to figure it out yourself. Like, oh, this must be when this happened because, Viz got, like, he felt a sharp pang in here. He felt, he got stabbed in the chest in Obiteum, and he like kind of stumbles in Rez because of the damage his body felt in Obiteum. That's kind of like, and that's where the pacing goes, because, like, you're moving along and you're getting into these, like, interesting aspects of the story, and then all of a sudden you shift as, it starts off, or it's in the middle of these plot points.
Yeah.
That's really the biggest gripe I have. And again, side characters and stuff. And we have like a bunch of different side characters that we get introduced to and a bunch of people that get brought back. One of the things in Rez that I kind of thought was kind of like, I didn't really understand it, or maybe like there was a lot like focus left on it, is the whole Tertius Dominus thing. Tertius Decimus thing. The father of Iroh.
The guy who's just like the bad guy now, but we saw him like once.
Yeah, we saw him once when he challenges Viz's right for Domitor for his son Iroh, and then Indra also
and then
died.
The next time you see him, he kills Aqua.
I was just like, what how did this happen? Like, what? Like, I was very much like, how did we get here?
Yes.
Paramore, let's do this. But I was just like, and then like the description of her head popping like a jelly, like it was just like, oh crap, what's going on? And then the other thing that kind of I was just like, what the hell happened was that when I think someone shot an arrow at Aiden or like at Viz because he whatever, Aiden jumps in the way, but no, then Diago the Alapai, the dog, jumps in the way and gets shot in the jugular, and then Diago the Alapai, the dog, Diago the Alapai getting shot in the neck and then just kind of like brushing it off. I'm like, what happened? Like, first of all, Diago also is like a big question mark. Like, what is he? He can't be. He can't just be a dog.
And we also see that they're like a thing in Luceum.
Yes,
the same type of wolf or whatever he is also exists there. Yeah.
But it's not like it's like the same species, but like Diago stands out from those wolves.
Yes. Yeah.
Because Diago, like he seems to understand what everything's going on. He has a very big aversion towards will being used, and he seems to understand Viz's contempt or like how to further plot along by murdering the entire military upper structure.
Yeah. Well, I've seen a theory. Is that at least Diago, but maybe all of the wolves, all of the Alupai are Yunctuses.
Ooh.
And that when Diago killed all those people because Viz was like unable to control him or whatever, people think that what's his name, Octavius? Ostius. Yeah. People think that he was controlling Diago because in the scene in one of the scenes before it, he like touches Diago.
Oh, that's interesting. Because it didn't seem like Viz was gonna kill the military people.
Yeah.
And
then Diago just like did.
After Ostius like said, oh, by the way, like this is Diago.
Yeah.
And how are you not gonna do anything about this and like come out alive after this?
Yeah.
Like it had to happen. I guess the big reveal at the end is a Hail Viz, where it seems like Calidus is back.
You don't know who it is, but it's very obviously Calidus.
Yeah.
Especially his mom and sister are alive again.
Yes. Especially in Confessiones ad Mortuos, it kind of starts off with Hail Calidus. So like you kind of get that. So for me, it's like definitely, this is Calidus coming back.
Yeah.
I think the one that we haven't talked about most is Obiteum.
Yeah, because it sucks.
It was confusing in the beginning for sure. So you end up kind of like waking up in a mausoleum or sarcophagus. Not sarcophagus, a mausoleum or a pyramid where Siror is kind of like hiding out with his band of people from the Gleaners, which are these unalive people that have
they're like flying zombies with sword
arms. It's very Malazan-esque. And in a jokey way.
Okay.
I see you guys over there. And essentially they get found out. Viz, or Seaman in this world, is able to control the Gleaners and is able to then break into Duat, which is the main city of this place. And from there, his job is to try to kill Ka. Try to infiltrate and kill Ka. And that's where he where he gets to where the Gleaners are, which it seems like it's like a guard post right outside the city. He meets Amos, which becomes his best friend, which was just like, what the hell is going on here? Which is a guy that was recently dead or recently brought back to life.
Yeah, he was a Yunctus.
He's a Yunctus brought back to life.
He was going to be turned into a Gleaner.
Yes.
And Viz saved him.
And they infiltrate the city. He somehow meets up with this person. Netocret, who seems to be able to... she seems like a smuggler or like a mover.
She was an assassin.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what it was. And it is the most confusing plotline of the story. And again, because it was after I was told that, it's Egypt, I was like, okay, it makes more sense, kind of like the descriptions of certain things going on.
Okay. Yeah, I got it pretty early on that it was supposed to be Egypt. No, it's okay.
Yeah, so then it's Netocret, and then can you tell me what you feel like the plot of Obiteum was?
It was wasting time until he could kill Ka and it line up with the end of the book. And oh my god, he finds a crook and flail that are just like, it's literally the power is just, it can destroy anything.
So it's actually the powers that happens in the first book at the
Coliseum,
but it's
just, it can destroy anything.
Yeah, it's like, why didn't you bring that into Duat when you first.
Well, he didn't know about
captured
it
and
at the
everything.
time.
Well, he knew that there was weapons because he goes back to where Siror is because Siror's like, there's weapons here.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why he goes
Okay.
back to find Siror is because one, he wants to find Siror, and then two, he needs weapons to actually go in and kill Ka.
Okay. Yeah, because the only thing
And
I remembered.
the crook is just like the Egyptian like little thing. It's like a cross with the.
No, that's not that.
It's not?
A crook. It's like a shepherd. It's like a cane almost. That is an ankh.
Oh, man, I'm an idiot. Yeah. Never mind.
The only thing I remember about that door is he goes to it at that one point, and that little girl is like, "No, the end of the world is behind that door."
Yeah.
And whatever. Okay. I want to talk about a few more things
Go.
some of the decisions in this book utterly, like the narrative decisions, utterly baffle me. So you spent so much time in the first book building up certain characters, and then they're just gone from this book. Like, Cesor is just gone from this book.
Alanistia,
gone. Just Amisa, gone.
Relukia getting killed, getting left behind in the sapper by Viz. I thought it was a baller move. I'm like, holy crap.
But like all these characters that were built up are just non-existent in the narrative.
Yeah, it goes more to like his friendships with, and there's a forced love interest with Amisa, and then his friendship with Aiden. No, Aqua. You could see that he wanted to be like in a relationship with Aqua, but then obviously Aqua gets fucking axed.
Yeah,
and then
also,
it's implied Amisa because he's like all googly eyes about Amisa.
But also, I understand with Aiden, but Aiden's like not a huge part of the Rez storyline.
Yeah, he's there as a support.
Yeah. And so
he takes like Callus' place essentially.
Yeah, so I didn't understand like why that decision was made. That like you built up all these characters and they're not really in this part. And there was something else I wanted to say.
The whole school aspect with Viridius.
I can't remember what we're
there is a part where they go back to the school and like they talk with Viridius, and then it means nothing for the rest of the series, kind of.
No.
Well, it kind of talks about like.
And Viz was like they wanted, a bunch of people wanted Viz to be like a Quintus or whatever right out of school or whatever, but that doesn't happen. Aqua gets to be the Quintus and Viz ends up being a sexist. This doesn't matter. It never matters. And then at the end they're just like, oh, he's a Quintus now. And after Rez just starts falling apart, they're just like, he's a Quintus now.
Yeah.
And there's like nothing behind it.
Well, that's because the hierarchy kind of like.
Well, yeah. Like I get that, but like he didn't do anything as a sexist, and then they're just he's a Quintus, and it doesn't really matter. And the whole thing,
information.
The whole thing with him with him finally like giving in, that was like he was just like, yeah, sure. The entire first book, he's like, no, this is the one thing I will not do. I will not cede my will to people. And then at the beginning of this book, he's just like, yeah, okay.
So there's a lot of times in this story where like there should be more conflict in how like being presented, and it kind of gets like brushed off because like, hey, we need a further plot.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, him ceding his will just to like I guess get into which he doesn't actually cede his will.
Well, yeah, I know because the thing already happened. Like in Obiteum, maybe Kaor tells him like, oh, going through this process, like you have basically ceded your will already. That like part of this process was like
well, in the other worlds, it's like, hey, I'm not ceding my will to the hierarchy. That's the biggest thing.
Well, no, it's not.
But
he's like
in Rez, he doesn't cede his will. He gets interrupted by it.
But he's like. I remember Siror, whatever his name is, was saying like, "Oh, you've basically like you've done like it's happened already because you did this thing because you got split in 3." And then I remember because Obiteum Viz was like he was like kind of upset about it, but not really upset about it. Yeah. Luceum Viz doesn't know shit. Yeah, nobody cares about him. But then in Rez, Viz doesn't know that it's kind of happened already. Yeah. And when he goes like they try to get him to cede his will, and he's just like, yeah, I'll do it. This one thing, the only thing I didn't want to do throughout the entirety of the first book, you got me. I'll do it now. It doesn't matter.
I didn't have such a big deal with this story, and then I think.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
What were you saying? I was going to go into Luceum and just be like, what happens there? But like again, Luceum for the most part was just him going back to school and getting good with the spear with one-handed, and then he becomes Magneto in Rez and in Luceum, and kind of like has metal arms and legs, and it was just just that.
And there was a thing that really bothered me because it didn't come up a lot.
Okay,
so it's bothering me. It's maybe bothering me just a little bit.
Okay,
but in the beginning when Siror is telling Obiteum Viz about the concurrence.
Okay.
And Viz is like, oh, the concurrence won here. Siror says, I think they won everywhere. And I was like, that would be a way better reveal at the end of the book. And he just says it, and then they just kind of move on.
All right, but I think I find what your issues are. I don't think they're wrong, but I don't have as big a problem with them as you do. I think it's I enjoy it.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense.
I still like the series. I still like the book. It's yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I can't think of anything. Is there something you wanted to talk about?
I don't think there's anything else really. Again, Luceum is kind of like he goes through this training school, and then like there's a deception that's done by Galkawar, and then the reveal at the end that the bad guy that they're fighting against, or the opposing faction leader that they're fighting against, ends up being Siror. And I have a theory about this, that I think this is Siror from Obiteum. Because I think Siror in Obiteum says that he felt the other two copies of himself die. And I think the thing I think so. He definitely said one of them died. I could have sworn it was both copies that he felt when both copies of him died. And then I think what Daglin crushes is Siror's way of jumping between Obiteum and Luceum.
Oh.
Yes, so I think that the Siror that gets revealed at the end of the book in Luceum is actually the same Siror that was from Obiteum. That's why he's not in Obiteum at the end of the story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then why would he say that the other one made a mistake? Why would he say that the other Viz made a mistake?
Maybe he knows that. Maybe he's
but
thinking that Rez.
He told Viz to kill Ka.
No, maybe he's talking about Rez Viz. That Rez Viz siding with the Yuntas or siding with Ka. Is the one that made the mistake. He didn't say which Viz made the mistake. He just said one of your copies made a mistake. And I think he's talking about Res Viz. And then we have to decide who actually made the mistake or not. Or we find out. I'm guessing we're gonna find out later in the series.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, 3 stars, perfect. I love it.
No, I will say something I would have liked to see.
Yeah.
Was, and maybe this will as time goes on, is when I would have liked to see all 3 Vizes depart more in personality and stuff.
Luceum is the only one that actually departed. He's like, oh, what? I was trying to do something
for a little,
and he just kind of
for a little bit. He's just like, I just want to be a farmer.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what? How does that?
And I was kind of like, all right, I guess. But then by the end, he's like, nah, I'm gonna fight for my friends.
Well, I mean, that's because he's part of this world now. So
yes, no,
I think his is the most one that diverts the most, as because he's left by himself. While here he's being manipulated by the Anguis and by Siror.
Maybe I would have liked to see them change a little more. I don't think that really comes through. Maybe we will, because maybe it'll change a little, but that's just something I thought of that I would have liked to see. I think it would be a very cool thing to do in a book like this, where you have the same character in 3 different situations, and just to be like, how does that change a person?
Yeah.
And I feel like that hasn't really been shown yet.
I think in Luceum it changes a person more, but in Res and Obitium, I think just their choices are different. That's the only thing that's so this in Luceum he changes his personality a little bit, and then these 2
maybe a little. To me, he still felt like the same the whole time, which I mean I get, it's the same guy, but I would have.
He's back to being in school.
I would have liked to see it being a little more.
Are there any other final thoughts you have with the?
No.
No.
Yeah,
you're pretty good with it.
Yeah,
you loved it.
I had a good time. I had a good time talking about it.
I think I had a great time with it. I laughed so hard with this. It was really good. I really like this. I like this book a lot. Again, 4 stars. I don't think it's the next big thing, or I'm still enjoying it. I'm still going to read book 3. It's going to be a good time for me, and I can't wait to read book 4 as well. It's a very interesting concept. It's very unique in itself.
Yeah.
I feel like there's something that could have been tightened up a little bit more, and some things that could have been highlighted a little bit more.
A lot more.
Well, yeah, I think there was a lot in here that felt like a lot like book 2 syndrome or middle book syndrome, where they try to reveal a lot of information, and especially with how, and I get it because how the first book ended, you want to understand what's going on in all these different places.
Yeah, but I mean, I get it, but it's like even with Rez is there's still a bunch of info dumps about Rez, because it was just never really explained in the first one. with Obiteum and Luceum, Luceum, I think, has the least amount of info dumps. I think that's why I liked it so much. Luceum was like, he's here and he has to figure things out, and I think that's why I really liked it. It wasn't just like, it wasn't in Obiteum. He has Siror, and Siror's just like, here's the deal.
The first like 5-10 chapters of Obiteum was.
It's just like info dump about what this place is.
Yeah.
But even with Rez, like that's what I'm saying. With Rez, I found it so funny where they would like info dump about the world and be like, but we learned about this last year in school.
I heard so all these names in the Roman names are like Latin inspired, but like they have a little twist to them. The Egyptian names are Egyptian inspired to have a little twist to them, and all the Gaelic names are just Gaelic names.
That's kind of funny. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I had a good time with this book. Again, really enjoying the series, and I had a good time with this review.
I think I could be convinced to read book 3. Maybe if you read it and you tell me like you might actually like this one. It might pick up a little for you. I might give it a try. But other than that, I don't think
you're done with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let us know what you think about it. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. I think this is probably the funniest one.
It's the first one where we've disagreed.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, comment, subscribe, and all that.
Yeah, tell us what you thought about the strength of the
Please let me know how he's wrong and I'm right.
I mean, most likely they will, because you have the popular opinion.
I am the man of the people. But
and I am the correct one.
No, you're wrong. You're completely wrong. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, catch you on the next one.
See ya.
Peace.